You know, that feeling, that moment when it feels like the story is just over.
Yeah. Like the job ends or a relationship falls apart.
Or maybe it's just the sheer weight of everything and it feels like, the final credits are rolling. If you've been there, you're definitely not alone.
It's that awful gut-wrenching feeling, like a full stop, where the narrative you've been living just seems to hit this abrupt and often really painful end.
Yeah, the path forward feels, I don't know, completely blocked sometimes.
Totally black.
But here's something really important we want to dive into today. That feeling, okay, as heavy and real as it is, that is not necessarily the end of your story.
Right.
You aren't a finished chapter just because of a setback or a heartbreak or some struggle you're going through. Those moments, they don't get the final say.
Exactly. We often have this idea that life should be like a neat straight line forward. But if you actually look at the most compelling stories and just life itself, that's hardly ever the case, is it?
No, not at all.
Setbacks, those times when things feel like they're falling apart, they aren't always conclusions. They can actually be really powerful pivots, unexpected turns that might lead you somewhere much deeper, you know?
Yeah. Think about the stories that really stick with you. They're almost never about a smooth ride.
Never. The best ones often involve falling apart and then somehow rising again.
Right. The ones that grab us, the ones we really remember, are usually about people facing incredible adversity and somehow finding a way to rise. So that's really our mission in this deep dive today, to explore how you, listening right now, can maybe take back the pen and actively start rewriting your own narrative.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the strength that's actually hidden in our scars, the very real possibility of comebacks, and just that fundamental human knack for persevering through almost anything.
And it's worth thinking about how many of us are kind of operating within stories that weren't even ours to begin with.
What do you mean?
Well, they can be put on us from the outside, right? Expectations from family, maybe judgments we feel from other people, even the echoes of like past relationships.
Yeah.
Or, and this is just as powerful, they can be those self-limiting beliefs that kind of take root after a disappointment or what feels like a failure.
The I'm not good enough track.
Exactly. Or the I always mess things up, or this is just how my life is going to be. That stuff can play on repeat in our heads.
Oh, those internal scripts can get so deep, can't they? Even when they're actively holding us back.
Yeah, really deep.
But I think the shift happens when you suddenly realize, wait a second, I'm the one holding the pen now.
Right.
This is my story, and I actually have some say here. I have agency. It can feel like a huge thing to take on, I know, but that power to reshape the story, it's always there, just waiting.
It absolutely takes courage, though, let's be honest. It's often weirdly more comfortable to just stay in the familiar zone.
Even if it's a painful zone.
Yeah, even if that familiarity brings pain. But, you know, C.S. Lewis put it so well. He said, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
That's such a powerful quote.
Isn't it? It's a key thing to hold on to. You are not locked in to some plot that's already been written for you.
And it's amazing how even just a small shift in how you look at things can start to change the whole story you're telling yourself.
How so?
Well, instead of getting stuck on I failed, what if you reframed it as, okay, I learned something really valuable from that experience?
That's a good one.
Or when that little voice whispers, I was abandoned, maybe you could reframe it to acknowledge, wow, I actually navigated and survived a really difficult separation.
Right. It's about actively choosing a more empowering lens, isn't it? How you view the things that have happened in your life.
Yeah, choosing the lens.
Precisely. It's about moving from feeling like maybe a victim of your circumstances to recognizing yourself as the victor, the one who navigated through those circumstances.
That doesn't mean pretending the pain wasn't real.
Not at all. It doesn't diminish the pain or the challenges one bit, but it recasts your role in the story. You're the one who endured, who found a way through. And that, right there, is an act of incredible strength.
So maybe just take a second with this thought. What's a story you've been telling yourself, maybe for a long time, that just isn't serving you well anymore? And then, maybe even more important, what's the story you actually want to tell starting now, from here?
Because who you are today isn't just the sum of your past, right?
Definitely not. The past is one chapter, sure, an important one, but there are so many blank pages still ahead.
So many. Now, let's maybe shift gears a bit and talk about something that carries a lot of weight for people. Our scars.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, the visible ones, of course, but often the ones that run deeper are invisible, aren't they? Emotional wounds, spiritual struggles, things that have left their mark.
Uh-huh. And there's such a tendency, I think, in our culture to want to hide those, to present this perfect, flawless image.
We definitely live in a world of highlight reels, don't we?
We really do. The struggles mostly stay behind the scenes.
But what if we just flip that whole perspective?
How?
What if we started seeing our scars not as, like, imperfections or things to be ashamed of, but as actual, tangible evidence of our resilience, proof of our ability to withstand things and to heal?
Evidence of resilience. I like that.
That's a really powerful reframe, I think. Scars basically prove that you encountered something significant, something really challenging, and you didn't just shatter, you healed.
Right.
Think about this story about a man named James. He tragically lost absolutely everything he owned in a terrible house fire.
Oh, wow. That's unimaginable.
Completely. Just a level of trauma that's hard to even grasp.
Yeah.
And yet somehow from that deep, deep loss, he found a new sense of purpose.
Really?
He started dedicating his time, his energy, to helping other fire victims navigate that incredibly overwhelming process of rebuilding their lives. And he said something really profound. He said, "The fire took everything, but gave me purpose." His own immense pain became the catalyst for helping others through theirs.
That's incredible. What a powerful example of how even immense pain can somehow lead to growth, maybe unexpected growth, and a new sense of meaning.
Exactly. And it really highlights the point that every single time you faced something difficult and just kept putting one foot in front of the other, that act in itself is powerful proof of your inner strength. You might not always feel strong, but the evidence is there. So maybe think of this as an invitation. Consider letting go of the need to hide your scars. Maybe start to honor them.
Honor them.
Yeah. Your struggles aren't like blemishes on your story. They're integral parts of a life that's actually been lived, you know. They're undeniable proof of your resilience.
And like with James, maybe your real story, including the tough parts, is exactly what someone else needs to hear.
It absolutely has that potential to connect, to offer comfort, maybe just to make someone feel less alone.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What are the scars you're carrying, visible or invisible? And what if those very things, the experiences you might feel tempted to hide or feel shame about, what if they're actually the key that could help someone else find their way?
That thought leads us right into the incredible power of seeing how others have navigated their own huge challenges. There's just so much hope to be found in stories of comebacks, of recovery, even redemption. These real-life examples, they're like powerful reminders of just how amazing the human spirit is. Its capacity not just to endure stuff, but to actually overcome adversity.
And the world is just full of these stories, if you look, isn't it? Like John O'Leary.
Oh, his story is incredible.
Right. At 9 years old, he suffered catastrophic burns, over 100% of his body. Doctors gave him like a 1% chance of survival, basically zero.
Almost impossible odds.
Exactly. Yet he didn't just survive that unimaginable ordeal. He's gone on to become this renowned speaker and author, impacting so many lives with his message of resilience.
And his quote really sticks with you, doesn't it?
Which one?
Pain is universal, but so is hope.
Ah, yes. Simple, but so profound. It really captures a core truth about being human.
It really does. And then you have stories like Liz Murray's.
Oh, yeah, from homelessness to Harvard.
Exactly. Growing up in severe poverty, experiencing homelessness, the hurdles she faced were just immense, multiplied.
Unbelievable.
Yet through sheer grit and determination, she not only finished high school while living on the streets, but she got into and graduated from Harvard University.
It's just an extraordinary testament to what people are capable of.
It really is.
And it's not just the famous stories either. If you look around online, in communities, people are sharing their personal journeys all the time.
So many everyday people, yeah.
Courageously sharing their stories of recovery. You know, battles with addiction, navigating mental health challenges, finding the strength to leave toxic situations, finally finding their voice. These stories might not always be neat and tidy, but their rawness, their honesty, that's what makes them so incredibly powerful, I think. So relatable.
What's so amazing about all these different stories is, well, how universal the struggles are, but also how many unique paths people find towards healing and growth.
Yeah, everyone's path is different.
And all these stories together, they really reinforce this fundamental truth. It's just so important to remember. You are truly never too broken to begin again.
That's crucial.
That possibility of a new chapter, a fresh start, It always, always exists.
And that's such a vital message to really let sink in. If someone else, facing what looked like impossible odds, found a way to get back up after falling, well, what does that say about the potential that's inside you too?
Yeah. If they could do it.
So can you. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So right now, wherever you are, I'd like you to just take a deep breath with us. Just a conscious breath in and out.
Okay.
And then I want you to say 3 simple but really powerful words out loud. Say with conviction. Whatever feels right for you, just let yourself say it. I'm still here.
Because if you really stop and think about it, you have already navigated and survived every single difficult day you have ever faced up to this point.
Mm-hmm. Every single one.
You've overcome challenges and difficulties that maybe nobody else even knows about. You've kept showing up day after day, even when it felt incredibly hard, maybe even unbearable sometimes.
Just take a moment. Let the weight of that, the truth of that, sink in. The resilience you've already shown in your life is huge. It's undeniable.
Yeah.
And so now we want to ask you directly, what is your I'm still here story? What's that experience you came through, that challenge you faced and overcame that serves as proof of your own strength?
Maybe your I'm still here story is about learning to manage anxiety that used to feel completely overwhelming.
Yeah, could be.
Or maybe it's about finding the courage you needed to walk away from a relationship that just wasn't healthy for you anymore. It could even be something that seems small to others but was huge for you, like just getting out of bed and facing the day when grief felt like it was crushing you. These stories come in all shapes and sizes.
You really do. And we just want to really encourage you to actively own that story, whatever it is.
Own it how?
Maybe take some time to write it down. Or perhaps share it with someone you trust, a friend or family member. Or maybe just speak it out loud to yourself when you're alone.
Okay.
Because your unique experience, your personal journey of just being here, still standing, that could absolutely be a beacon of hope for someone else who's going through their own dark time right now.
Right. Your story matters.
It really, really does.
So as we kind of start to wrap up this deep dive, let's just circle back to some of the main ideas we've talked about.
Right.
Please remember this. You're absolutely not defined by your worst moment or your biggest mistake or your hardest fall.
No, you're so much more than that.
You have this incredible power to actively rewrite your narrative, to take the pen and take conscious control of the story you tell yourself and the story you tell the world about who you are.
And those scars we talked about. Visible, invisible. They aren't weaknesses. They're not things to hide. They are powerful, undeniable proof of your strength, your capacity to heal, your amazing ability to just keep going.
Proof of strength.
And comebacks. They happen in all sorts of ways. They are always possible. The human spirit just has this extraordinary ability to renew itself, to grow.
And maybe the most important thing, the simple fact that you're here, listening to this right now, engaging with these ideas. It means your story is nowhere near its final chapter.
Not even close.
You're still writing it, actively, moment by moment, day by day.
You are the author right now, going forward. So what kind of story are you going to choose to write from here on out?
Yeah, what's the next chapter going to look like?
We really hope you choose to write something bold, something healing, something that is uniquely, authentically you. Because trust us, there is someone out there who needs to hear this story that only you can tell.
And you might just be getting started, really getting started. Leonardo DiCaprio once said something interesting. Every next level of your life will demand a different version of you.
That's a good one to ponder.
Yeah, maybe just let that sit with you as you move forward on your path. A different version of you for every next level.
And ultimately, please remember this truth. You are inherently worthy. You possess so much inner power, and your best, most compelling, most fulfilling chapters, they are absolutely still ahead of you, waiting to be written.